Hello, everybody, and welcome in. Today, we got something very special for you with the ONIT Baseball release coming up. We are joined today by Baseball America's national college reporter, Jacob Rudner. Jacob, I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to come talk to me about some of these prospects.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be able to chat college baseball and baseball cards. I feel like it's a unique and fun cross-section here, so this should be cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's kind of everything that you guys do at Baseball America, the prospecting and how early it starts, and with, people loving to get the first Bowmans of these guys when they come out. Like, this is kind of the opportunity to even get in before that and really start that early days of prospecting. And as you know, there's a ton of talent in this year's draft. It's looking to be a very special class. A lot of it is concentrated in one place in Southern California. There in UCLA, you got guys like Rock Kalowski, Logan Redeman, who I know you're a big fan of, Will Gasparino. There's just a lot of talent out there in UCLA. So they're one of the teams that I think is going to be very hot on release on Friday. What is it that you see out of this UCLA Bruins team and, the individuals on this team that are going to have collectors be very interested in what they're bringing to the table at the MLB level?
Yeah, I think also there's going to be some value on the college level too, because I think that this UCLA team has a real chance to go on and win the national championship, which is something that has moved a little bit further east and into the South over the last couple of years. So UCLA could be a part of a little bit of history on the college side. But from a pro perspective, it's an easy group to love. There's a lot of draft talent. Rock Kalowski obviously is the headliner. The expectation remains that he's going to be the first overall pick. I think he's done everything and even a little bit more, especially on the defensive side this season, to show that he is every bit the top prospect that we expected him to be. It's the guys around him, though, that have really kind of piqued my interest so far this season. Logan Redeman is chief among that group. I think that he has played his way into the first round. He had one of the best performances of any college pitcher this season when he struck out 18 batters at Rutgers. Really good pitcher who has only kind of gotten better. The fastball velocity has ticked up. We're seeing some real off-speed shapes from him. And the chatter right now behind the scenes is that he's going to kind of sneak into the first round, potentially, and if not, be on the border of that. So if you're looking to get behind a potential first rounder, he's a great one. And Will Gasparino is another guy who I think is super intriguing. Not quite the draft value at the top end of the spectrum, but somebody who I think with continued refinement, especially to that hit tool, he could be a really great prospect. He's got top of the scale raw power. He's a true center fielder with a great run tool. I think he's the kind of athlete that's easy to get behind. And, with a couple more changes, we're talking about somebody who's a sleeper to maybe jump into a top 100 picture one day if he can figure out the hit tool. Vu, kind of the opposite, first baseman, maybe not the most powerful hitter for the position that you would expect, but if he continues to grow into the body and increase his strength, we see Vu as somebody who might be a real value add outside of the first round. So a core quartet of pitchers at UCLA, players at UCLA, who are really intriguing and I think could end up being valuable pro prospects.
Yeah, all of those guys that you mentioned, I've definitely had my eye on. Redeman, I think everybody kind of went on red alert when he had that game against Rutgers, like you mentioned, the 18 Ks, new career high too with the 8 innings. He had previously only been at 6 1/3 at the most, and I think that shows that he can work deep into games too. So I like him moving up the draft boards a lot. I think he's going to be somebody that people are chasing after here in this UCLA team set. In a team that's maybe been a little bit of surprise to people. I think a lot of people expected it based on how some moves went down last year's Georgia Tech. Drew Burris was, of course, the big name. Everybody knows about him. But Vaughn Lackey at the catcher position, he's been very intriguing this year. He's a guy who's going to be in the set as well. What do you like about Vaughn Lackey there with his kind of mixture of tools at a premium position?
Well, I think anytime that a team can draft a player at the catcher position who brings a blend of athleticism and real feel for hitting plus some power, it's pretty hard to stay away from those guys at the top of the draft. And Vaughn Lackey has done everything that teams have asked him to do this season to prove that he belongs in that range. And we expected Lackey to be in the first round conversation. That's kind of where we had him positioned at the beginning of the season. Now he's a prominent first rounder, potentially even a top 5 pick this July. So if you want to bet on the trends, Vaughn Lackey is a guy who's definitely moving in the right direction. I think that he has potential to get bigger and stronger even still. I think the defense, which is good at the moment, has a chance to improve just because of how athletic he is. and how good a mover and a willing catcher. The receiving is very sound. That's not exactly a blend that comes around very often. So Von Lackey is an interesting player because of the position, and it's compounded by the fact that he does everything so well, plus has that real good baseline athleticism.
Yeah, he's definitely a very interesting prospect going into the draft. And I think the Georgia Tech set for people is going to be very interesting because, like I said, you do have Drew Burress and you have Von Lackey, both guys who are very big names, very high first-round potential there. And another guy who has first-round potential out of the Big 12 is Stroyer Stroh-Snyder. He's a pretty young guy, outfielder. And according to my research, he's never actually signed a baseball card before. So on Friday, when he releases an R set, it will be potentially the first time that he's ever had autographs available to chase after, which I think is pretty cool. And I think he brings a lot of tools from the left side of the plate as well with his defense in the outfield.
Yeah, I can see why somebody might want to be all over that to be a part of the first autograph group that he's ever signed. He's a really interesting player. Again, I go back to, when guys play premium positions and they do it well and they show off really good athleticism, their potential is just sky high. And Stroyer Stroh-Snyder fits very comfortably into that bucket. He runs well. He hits the ball hard. There's a chance that he can play center field one day. And the offensive ability has kind of held really strong throughout his now 2-year college career. Last year, we saw some moments where maybe we thought we had some hit tool questions. This season, I think he's done a really good job to answer the bell there and kind of prove exactly how valuable he is as a prospect. And so is he somebody that sneaks into the top 10? I wouldn't rule it out this July. I definitely think that he's a first-round pick and probably towards the top half of that group as well. So, especially if it's the first time that he's ever signed a card, I can see why that might be intriguing.
Yeah, it will certainly be an intriguing chase. I think, the Horned Frogs, unfortunately, haven't had the greatest season as a team as a whole, but Sawyer has been playing very well. I think he's a guy who certainly, again, has first-round potential and very high first-round potential as well, depending on how he shows out over the last couple of months. And then another guy who's in that same area, Chris Hyakopin from Texas A&M. Jacob, I'm sure you're aware kind of the plight on SEC first-round outfielders that we've seen over the past decade or so. But looking at kind of the tools and the way that Chris plays, I think there's potential maybe that we could break that mold.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the most likely outcome for Hyakopin is that he ends up on the infield, likely a second baseman. But the key here with Hyakopin is the bat. He is somebody who is going to go out there and hit the ball often and hard when he does. We've seen that this season. There's been some injury disruption, but that's kind of what makes him interesting as far as his card value goes. I think that we haven't necessarily seen the best of Hyakopin yet, and he'll still be a very early first rounder. So this is somebody who's going to end up on the infield, who's going to bring a lot of offensive potential quickly. I think he's a mature hitter, even if we haven't seen him a ton in his draft season. And those are kind of the ingredients that go into a potential top prospect. There is a chance that he has the best hit power combination in this entire class. So intriguing player. We've seen it in flashes when he's been healthy, and I think teams are ready to draft him in a prominent spot, even without having really gotten an extended look because the tools are so loud.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent, like you said, with the tools. I really like his hit tool, the ability to hit for power, too. I also made a mistake there. I was thinking of his teammate, Caden Sorrell, who's the outfielder. Hyakopin there at shortstop right now, like you said, he's probably a second baseman in the future. And coming up on Friday when we have release, I'm going to throw a curveball here at you, Jacob, really quick. We've got TCU, Texas A&M, UCLA, West Virginia, and Wake Forest. Obviously, UCLA, out of those teams, would be the favorite to win it all in Omaha. But out of the other four, Wake Forest, West Virginia, Texas A&M, and TCU, who do you think kind of has a backdoor chance to maybe represent in Omaha and should be a team that people are on the lookout for?
Yeah, I would definitely be on the lookout for Texas A&M. The momentum for that team is really strong right now. Last year, we saw Texas A&M miss the tournament as the preseason #1 overall team. That was the first time that's happened since the 90s. This year, they look completely different. And I think the best part about this team is that we've seen them get increasingly better as time has gone on. This has not been a stagnant team that's just been good all along. We saw them get off to a solid start. Now they're playing excellent baseball. It's easier for me to get behind a group that isn't obviously the #1 team in the country like UCLA when we're seeing them improve over time. I think the pitching has gotten better. You've got guys like Hyakopin and Sorrell who have been so talented for that team and played such good baseball. I think that's a team that can make a really deep run if they get the right draw in the postseason.
Yeah, they've got a lot of talent. I like what you're saying there. I think the series victory over Texas definitely was kind of a springboard. Gavin Grahovic is also playing super well, 6 straight multi-hit games as we record this. So that team's loaded. I would like to see them make a run in Omaha. I appreciate your time, Jacob. Clearly, we've got a lot of prospects here, so thank you for narrowing it down to kind of your top 5 there. And we look forward to seeing more of your writing on Baseball America and seeing some of these guys' cards on Friday.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hope you enjoyed that, everybody, and thank you to Jacob for giving me some of his time to talk about his favorite prospects in our upcoming ONIT baseball releases. Like I said in the video, we have 5 schools coming out this Friday, those being UCLA, Texas A&M, TCU, Wake Forest, and West Virginia. We talked about Von Lackey from Georgia Tech, and their cards will be coming shortly, along with the rest of our other 17 teams to make up our 23 baseball teams this year. So if you don't see your team on the website yet, don't worry. Just check back in a couple of days or maybe weeks as we will continue to roll out our baseball releases as we print the product. So you can be on the lookout for that. And if you're a softball fan, those cards are also coming shortly. Just make sure you check back on the website if you don't see your softball team there yet. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I really hope you enjoyed us breaking down what makes these prospects so special and why we wanted to include them in our ONIT release this year. Hopefully we'll have more with Jacob here as the college baseball season heats up and we head towards Omaha. And if you pull any of these awesome baseball cards or prospects, we'd love to see them. You can use the link down below or find it in the description on athlete.com/highlights to submit your hits, and we'll show them off here on the YouTube channel. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy ripping when baseball releases April 24th.